Welcome to Hold My Banner. Adam Pellerin, Ountae, Campbell.
What's up?
I feel like I got a lot of energy, man. You know, I worked the Red Sox pre- and post-game shift last night.
Okay.
Big win for the Red Sox. Cedar Rafaela with some heroics in the ninth inning, and I'm carrying that energy over into Hold My Banner.
I'm glad you're carrying it in because we got a packed show today. I'm excited about this.
We
show,
do,
honestly.
man.
It's going to be a good one, just like that Red Sox game. They're actually playing right now. You know,
They are.
They're at least about to start playing. Right
Yeah,
now,
they're about to start playing right now. So, I mean, the great thing about that is you can watch the game on TV and you can watch us on Nessa Nation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are no problems right there.
Yeah, I got a lot of energy coming into the episode because I don't know if you saw Keita's last game in Eurobasket, but he was shooting threes, he was shooting some mid ranges,
Yeah.
elite double-double. He's got me excited to talk Celtics basketball.
Keita
today.
just shooting threes, man. Long range guy. He's a stretch big now. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to talk to a former Celtic on Hold My Banner. So we got a guest on this episode, a guy who's a part of the run to the Stanley Cup. Man, I'm thinking about hockey already.
Well,
NBA
a whole lot of
finals.
sports here on Hold My Banner.
Goodness.
Football last episode, hockey,
man.
baseball, whatever.
You know how it
get
is.
all.
We jump from lily pad to lily pad,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So, all right, NBA Finals against the Warriors a few years back. Malik Fitts will join us. Talk about what it was like to play with Jayson Tatum, Derek White, and Jaylen Brown. And with Jaylen Brown being the man this year,
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to get his insight on whether or not he thinks he can be that guy next season. So that'll be cool. We'll look ahead to, we'll continue our team previews. We'll be in the Pacific Division, the two teams that play in LA. The Clippers and the Lakers.
Different stadiums this year.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
And last year.
The Intuit Dome is where the Clippers play now.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So, but we'll start. I mean, listen, it's a big day tomorrow too.
Yeah. Yeah.
NBA 2K26 drops tomorrow.
Oh, man.
I mean, how excited are you right now?
Oh, I'm ecstatic. I already told everybody out in the content center, like, hey, don't talk to me after noon. Tomorrow I'll be locked in. All of my boys know, my mom knows, my whole entire family knows. Like, hey, if you're not talking about 2K, don't talk to me.
Oh man, it's gonna be awesome, and we always love, you know, creating your own player too, right? Like you do the MyPlayer thing.
Yeah.
And so we were thinking, why don't we do that to lead things off today, right?
Let's do it.
In honor of the release tomorrow. All right, so we got all these different categories. And you know, we're gonna, you know, the rules are basically we're not gonna reuse players, right? So one player per category, we're gonna alternate, all right?
Yep. All right.
All right, so you want to do the honors? You want to lead off?
Yeah, I'll lead off. So I'm gonna start off with layup.
Okay.
I feel like, you know, layup's the basic fundamentals of the game.
It is.
But the guy that's the most elite in this category, like, I gotta take Kyrie Irving, right?
Okay.
It's a Boston Celtics show. I understand that. But, you know, I gotta take Kyrie. He's got a great, you know, he's got a great handle too, but his ability to finish with both hands is elite. So I'm going Kyrie.
Fair enough. I went in a different direction.
Okay.
Because I did use Kyrie in another category.
Okay.
And I think you may have already mentioned it.
Yeah.
John Morant.
Okay, you're
For
gonna
layup.
take it for layup.
Yeah.
Okay.
for layup. Can we should we alternate and do different categories?
You want to make your own player and you want to make me to make my own player? I was hoping we would make a player together.
All right, let's make a player together.
So I was going to take layup. You could take dunk.
All right, fair enough.
And we'll choose whoever you want to do for dunk. So I'll do Kyrie for layup, and then you can take over dunk.
But I am curious, did you do all the categories?
Yeah, I did all the categories.
All right, cool, because I want to know who.
Okay, I'll tell you who I got
All
for
right,
dunk.
cool. All right, so if I got dunk, I got Giannis.
Giannis. Okay, we'll take Giannis. I have him in another category as well. Obviously, multifaceted guy.
Yep.
Who I had for dunk is Shadon Sharp.
Okay.
But we'll take Giannis at dunk. All right, post moves. This one was hard because there's a lot of great players who have a lot of different post moves, you know, that I like to see and like to watch do work in the post. But I think a guy that doesn't get enough love, former MVP, and people love to hate on him, but Joel Embiid. I think that would be pretty good for post moves. He's got a little dream shake in him.
Yeah.
Just a little dream shake. You know what I'm saying?
Right? Yeah, no, he does. A little dream shake.
A little dream. I won't go that
Yeah,
far.
let's not do that.
A
Let's
little
not do
dream
that. Let's
shake
not do
in
that.
him. You know what I'm saying?
maybe Raptors dream shake. You know?
Okay.
I mean, that's
All right.
That's nice. All right. Well, I actually had Jokic in there.
Okay.
I had Joker in there, you know, just because he's so dominant down there.
Yeah.
So like maybe not like technically, you know, like Embiid or Dream.
Yeah.
But still like just dominating down there. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like that. All right. We got mid range next.
Yep.
Because I didn't use him in any other category, and I felt like, man, I gotta use him somewhere. Durantula.
Durant at mid-range. I'm glad that you said that because I did leave him off of my list because there were some other guys that were better, but he's like obviously a top of the top in a lot of different categories, but like not one of those players that is the best, I feel like, personally, because I put Kawhi. And I think Kawhi, especially after watching him in the playoffs last year, and we'll talk about his team a little bit more later, but he was a demon when it comes to the mid-range game and always has been. But KD is definitely respectable, so we'll roll with him.
All right, do we want to do this on the count of three together? All right.
3-point.
3-point. 1, 2, 3, Steph Curry. There you go.
Yeah, all right.
That's
we can move on from that. Yeah. I'll let you take the next one, too. So passing is next.
All right, cool. So, again, a number of different candidates here. I went with SGA.
Yeah.
And I feel like that part of his game elevated last year too with the Thunder. So I feel like SGA is my guy.
All right, so then we'll get to who you like because I'm confused. I put Jokic. I put Jokic.
Yeah, which makes sense.
And I love SGA.
You could go LeBron there too.
You could go a lot of players.
Right?
There. You can go Trae Young there. And, he's a great player too. So there's a ton of people. I put Jokic, and I want to see if you have him further on in your list anywhere because
I had
MVP. But we'll get there. All right, handles. I put Darius Garland. I feel like handles was kind of a tough one because we were taking Kyrie at layup. At least I did, and I know Kyrie should probably be here, but then I didn't know who I would want to put for layup as well.
Yeah.
So it sucks that we can't pick the same player, but I'm going handles. Darius Garland, but I know you put Kyrie.
Yeah, I put Kyrie there because I think every time I think about Kyrie, I think of handles. I think of Uncle Drew.
Yeah.
That's all I can think about.
Yeah, 100%. All right, what about interior defense / rebound?
Yeah, so again, you could go a number of different directions. I went Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You didn't. I can tell by your reaction.
Well, no, I love Rudy, and I think it's the right answer. Yeah. I put DeMontis not because I was really worried about interior defense because
the rebounding,
but he's the best rebounder in the NBA right now, and I think interior defense is kind of overstated at times in the NBA because these guys are so big and athletic that them being down there does alter shots at some point. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, some guys are a lot more elite than others at blocking shots, but I think they're all still kind of elite at some point. Like every starting center, I should say, I feel like has the ability to alter shots.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think the only thing I think about with interior defense, which, separates some from others, is the ability to help.
Yeah.
Right? So, helping inside and coming over and making an outstanding, play, whether it's a block, shot, or if it was just, standing in the way, right?
Yeah.
Having the ability to move in the paint and getting down there. So that's kind of why I thought of Rudy Gobert in that situation. But I get what you're talking about with Sabonis, just, talk about an elite defensive rebounder. Right? Not much better than that in this game today.
So we'll go with Gobert on that one. All right, perimeter defense. I'll take this one. I was thinking Dyson Daniels. Now, I think a lot of people who watch Hold My Banner understand that last year when I watched Dyson Daniels in person, I said, oh, my God. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of times that I watch NBA players now, especially in person, where I'm like, man, that surprised me. And, this dude is a lot better basketball player in this area than I thought he was because I do watch a lot of hoops. But, man, what the Pelicans did to Dyson Daniels should be blasphemous. And they should be put their head on the stake because what the Atlanta Hawks have done with him, man, they freed him up. And defensively, he is a pest and a menace. I really thought he should have won Depoy last year, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
He got a new nickname, Great Barrier Thief.
I love that.
Because he's swiping everything. So I'm putting Dyson Daniels, but there's a lot of great options here.
All right. So because, we have a Celtics podcast.
Yes.
I leaned toward the Boston Celtics, and that would be Anthony Simons. No, just kidding. I went with Derek White.
Okay.
I went with Derek White.
That's
I went
fine.
with D. White because he's one of the elite perimeter defenders.
I'm good with
right? And he may not be the most elite, but he's still.
I'm good. I'm good with that. All right. What about speed? Who do you think's the fastest player in the league?
Yeah, man.
At least not that we haven't listed yet.
Yeah, no, that's right, exactly. I went with one of the newer members of the San Antonio Spurs, De'Aaron Fox.
Fox. I like Fox. I think he is the fastest player in the league. I went with a different. He was definitely a guy that I thought you were going to throw out, so I was like, let me put another name just in case. Amin Thompson is who I was thinking about. And you could put Asar there too, but I mean, there's millions of clips of these dudes being behind the pack on a fast break and just jumping through and getting chased down blocks and all this other stuff. Those dudes move incredibly.
Thompson is such an athlete.
Yeah.
Speed or vertical or all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
All right, so speaking of vertical, I went with Anthony Edwards.
Okay.
Man.
You went with Ant. Mm-hmm. This one's my category. I like that you went with Ant, but you took Fox for speed, so I'm going to take John Morant.
Yeah.
This is where I had Ja.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's
that makes sense.
6'2", 6'3", head on the rim, dunked on Wemby, even though it didn't count last year. Like, I got to, you know what I'm saying? He did dunk on Wemby, even though it didn't count.
That's fair.
So I'm going to give John Morant this category, but I'm going to allow you to take strength. What do you got?
All right, so you mentioned this individual earlier in one of the categories, and I believe it was post moves.
Oh, okay. So this is where you have Joel
Embiid.
Okay.
Joel Embiid, absolute moose down there.
All right, well, since you have Joel, it sounds like we by default got to go with my pick. I have Zion.
Yeah.
I think Zion is a Big Mac truck, you know what I'm saying? He's a strong dude. Everyone fears him whenever he breaks the free throw line because it's like, is he going to dunk on me? Is he going to throw me through the stanchion? I have no idea what this dude's going to do. So we're going to take Zion with strength, but that means I'll allow you to take the last two. Give me your NBA player build and then your NBA player IQ.
All right, cool. So first of all, if you take Zion and Embiid, you have a whole basketball player too who can actually stay on the court. So if you combine those two, like the 30 games that we get from one, the 30 games that we get from the other, you got 60. Yeah, there you go. That's my perfect player if I've ever heard one. All right, so with build, again, the Celtics podcast.
Yeah.
I'm going with Jayson Tatum.
I love that build.
Right?
I'm not mad at that at all. Yeah. And especially because my build was Giannis, who we used earlier for dunking.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, perfect world, like, I would have had Giannis there too.
Yeah.
But Tatum's just long
100%.
right?
So, makes sense. What about IQ?
All right. So, I mean, who haven't we named?
I have him too. Go ahead and set it. You want to do it on three?
All right, 1, 2, 3. LeBron.
All right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? Well, and again, like you could have used him in the passing category easily, right? I mean, just because. Back in the day, you could have used him in a number of other categories too, right?
I was thinking about it at vertical still.
Yeah.
Still.
I mean,
and dunk still.
He's going to turn 41 in
Right.
December. That's wild.
Yeah.
But, I mean, LeBron back in the day could have fit in almost not every single category.
Most.
Like most, right? Like most.
Speed
Dunk,
for sure,
layup,
strength, vertical.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, all the athletic categories, 100% already.
He's not in the three-point
Passing,
category.
for sure.
Right.
It's easier to talk about which ones he's not in.
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
Like passing, I mean, three-point shooting, probably, maybe post moves because he's not a real big doing the post, but you could argue it, you know what I mean? And then interior defense and rebounding, like he wasn't that elite, you know what I'm saying? But like, I mean, we're nitpicking.
Right. No, and I think of LeBron trailing the play and making the block, like pinning against glass.
Yeah.
Like, that one time Jordan did it back, 25 years ago.
Everyone lost their mind, and LeBron's doing it on a random Tuesday against the Charlotte Bobcats back in the day. Like, who cares?
It's so crazy, but his overall rating is 7th, right? And
in the game,
right? Just ahead of Jayson Tatum.
Yeah, don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Well, I mean, that's clearly
they're doing a little too much.
Right. Exactly. Like you're honoring the legend of LeBron James.
Right.
You're not making an evaluation of LeBron James today, right?
You know how this is the first time in his career that he's been rated not the highest rated player on his team in 2K going into the year. This is the first time.
Yeah.
In his entire career.
Yeah.
What are we? Our year 23.
Right.
This is insane.
Yeah, which is crazy. All
right.
Think about that.
Let me roll through the team just so everybody at home knows exactly where we landed.
All right.
So layup, we went with Kyrie. Dunk, we went with Giannis. Post moves, we went with Joel Embiid. Mid-range, KD. Three-pointer, Steph Curry, obviously. Passing, SGA. Handles, Darius Garland. Interior defense / rebounding, we went with Rudy Gobert. Perimeter defense. Wait, we didn't put Wemby? just thought about that.
Oh, yeah.
What? We missed with that one. Don't crush us in the comments, all right? We're sorry. We should have went Wemby there. That was crazy of us. But the rebounding numbers with Wemby are a little shaky.
Well, that's,
a little shaky.
Yeah.
So forgive us. All right, perimeter defense, we went Dyson Daniels. Speed, De'Aaron Fox. Vertical, John Morant. Strength is Zion Williamson. All of this encompassed in the build of Jayson Tatum with the IQ of one of the greatest of all time, LeBron James.
Absolute stud. This is
a great player.
This is a guy that's got like 50,000 points
in year 10
years.
In year 10.
That's so great.
Yeah, that's a great player.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so we did it. I mean, how much are you looking forward to the release, man? Like,
yeah.
I know we talked about it at the top, but like now that we got this done and
phone off.
Yeah.
When
are we gonna see you again? When are you gonna emerge?
I'll be stumbling back in here Monday morning to produce some stuff, but Tuesday you'll see me live and direct. I'll be ready to go.
You ever see Varsity Blues? You ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
All right, so you know the scene where they go to the adult establishment,
yes.
right? Okay, so when they come out of the adult establishment and it's like the sun's there. That's gonna be you coming out of your bunker,
coming
man.
Out of my bunker. Leaving my living room for the first time all weekend for sure. Yeah.
Oh man! All right, so we still got a lot more here on Hold My Banner, and a couple of the players that we talked about are on a couple of the teams that we're going to talk about coming up as we take a look at the Lakers and the Clippers, and we continue our team previews. Plus, of course, we got Malik Fitts who will join us as well, former Celtic, talk about some of the former teammates of his, Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown. That's coming up next. Well, it was National Dog Day earlier this week, and the Clippers social media team shout out, this is clever. Happy National Dog Day.
Dog. How about
He's a
that
dog.
Can I pet that dog?
Well, all these dogs, a lot of old dogs. Clippers. A lot of old dogs, but I mean, pretty talented old dogs too, right? Yeah. Guys who have been there, done that. NBA champions in some cases.
Yeah.
As we welcome you back to Hold My Banner, Adam and Ountae with you. So continuing our preview of all 30 NBA teams, and we find ourselves in the Western Conference, Pacific Division, and LA Clippers, who had a very busy and productive offseason on day. Yeah. So the big deal was Bradley Beal. Most recently, with the Phoenix Suns bringing him over. They signed Chris Paul as well. What do you think of those two moves in terms of the backcourt for the Clippers?
I love it. I love it because you're bringing Chris Paul off the bench at this age. We talked about how old LeBron is. Chris Paul is not a spree chicken or whatever you want to call it at this point. But you bring him in, and he's coming into I want to say a familiar building, even though it's not the building he played in.
Right.
But a familiar city. He's back home with his family, which was a big part of what he was weighing during the free agency and all of that stuff. So he's just going to be in a comfortable position where he can already come in, play with a bunch of other vets. He doesn't have to worry about teaching any kids or doing any of that stuff. He can just focus on his role and focus on winning. And he knows this is his last year. This team was a team that most pegged as a contender last year. You know what I mean? And I feel like they've gotten better this year and at least have more talent in the building. So he's going to be going out there scratching, clawing, which he's always done throughout his entire career. This is a guy that you want to have on your team with that kind of energy coming in. I'm hoping for a Boston Celtics championship, but if it's not the Boston Celtics at this point, I would love to see a redemption arc for a guy like that and see him go get a championship in his last year. So, I'm excited with that one. Bradley Beal, I'm excited for it because it's not the money. You know what I mean? Bradley Beal's still a really good player. He wasn't a really good player for $50 million. Mm-hmm. He is a really good player for how much is he supposed to make this year? 5? Yeah. 5.5. So, I think it's a great opportunity for them to go all in. And then if it doesn't work this year, I've been saying it for a couple of years now, it's time for the Clippers to blow it up. Yeah, so Bradley Beal's getting paid. First off, not just that salary, but on top. But the Clippers aren't paying. Yeah, exactly. That's the difference. Clippers aren't paying. The Clippers aren't paying. Yeah, so that was the beauty, right? Yeah. He was able to have his cake and eat it too. Right. So he had the best of both worlds right there. Yeah. So Bradley Beal. Jayson Tatum at his wedding. That's right. Having a great summer. St. Louis boys. I always thought that Beal and Tatum would play together. I think a lot of us thought that might happen. Didn't end up happening. But yeah, I mean, in terms of experience, I mean, Chris Paul, I think we saw last year,
with the Spurs, again, you mentioned it, he was a mentor, right, to some of the young players in that room, and doesn't have to do that as much. And I think that's a great point. He's 40 years old now, which is crazy, right? He's just been around so long. But despite that, I mean, he played all 82 last year.
That was great.
Right?
That was fantastic.
Yeah. So
and he looked like he was healthy enough to, go through a playoff run. If, the Spurs obviously didn't have that in them. But, if he can do, I don't even need him to do that on this team. I mean, obviously it'd be great because we know Kawhi Leonard's going to miss time. You know what I mean? We know Bradley Beal's had injury issues. He's probably going to miss time here and there as the season goes. That's just the nature of this team. If he can play 82 and just kind of be that stable rock on that team, that would be great.
But that's okay for a team like this, right? Because they're built for the postseason, right? And so if you can keep guys healthy in the regular season and manage their minutes and, do the whole thing, where you sit a guy out here and there, it's banged up right here,
But you're talking about a Western Conference that seeding's going to matter. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying if he plays 82 regular season games and he looks good, and that's the difference between them being a 52-win team or a 53 or a 54. Those games are going to mean a lot in this conference. At least we assume so.
Yeah, load management. That was the term that I was trying to. It couldn't come to mind. All right, so we talked about the backcourt, now the front court. John Collins, who they acquired, and Brook Lopez. What do you think of those moves in terms of how it meshes with the roster?
I love it. I love John Collins. I think I wanted him here. I wanted him here in Boston. I mean, I was banging that drum for a long time.
You were.
Because I think he does a lot of what you need out of a four-man in today's NBA. He can block shots and alter shots like we were talking about with bigs. He shoots the three. Every year he's getting better at shooting three. He is a pick and roll lob threat. He will go above the rim and dunk on people. And I've seen him, get dunked on the other end as well. But that's what a shot blocker does. He's not afraid to do that, and he's not afraid to stick his nose in. He's physicality. I mean, this kid is great. He's not going to average 20 points a game on this Clippers team because they do have a lot of talent around him. But man, it probably will be an efficient 16 points a game, and you're going to be really impressed with what he can do with a winning team around him.
Yeah, that was a big addition for the Clippers, no doubt about that. Brook Lopez, I mean,
He's Brook, but, he does add, as a backup big when you have a Visa Zubac who's turned out to be a top 10 center in the league at this point. Defensively, he's always been great. Now, offensively, his game has really been put together. You're asking Brook Lopez for 15 minutes a game. He can go out there at this age and knock a couple threes down and help you space the floor, and he understands defense at a high level as well, so he can be in the right place. Not getting up there and blocking shots, but he's going to be in the right place at the right time, and you need those kind of things.
But again, as I mentioned, guys with NBA championships on their resume, right? And he has that with Milwaukee. All right, so we talked about Kawhi Leonard. How do you handle him because again, the injury thing, you can't ignore that. It's been a thing with him for his entire career, really. Or most of his career, I should say.
Right, the back end of the career so far.
So how do you manage that? Do you manage the minutes right out of the gate? Is that what you do? It's like, you're not playing more than 30 minutes per game.
You do. You definitely do. And you worry about, like you said, getting to the playoffs and getting them healthy in the playoffs. I mean, he was, at least in round one of the NBA playoffs, he was the best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
The way he was going at that Denver Nuggets team, he was efficient. He was, defensively sound and locked in. Every time he shot a mid-range jumper, you thought it was going in, and you were right.
Yeah.
He was that kind of guy in the playoffs. It really sucks that the team didn't get it together and they came out in Game 7 and gave that poor output because, man, he was on a special tear. When he's healthy, we always say it, but he's a top 5 player in the NBA. There's no question about it. So, having him there and having him ready for the playoffs is the most important thing.
He was your mid-range guy, too, right, when you built your MyPlayer and MVP?
He was.
Yeah. All right, so with all that said, you got all these new pieces in, experienced players. You get a healthy Kawhi. You got a healthy team. Let's say you have a healthy team going into the playoffs. What's the ceiling for these guys? And you look at this Western Conference, right?
Yeah.
We talked about it time and time again. It's the iron of the league, right?
Yeah.
What's their ceiling?
See, that I'm nervous to answer this. I've answered it before on this show when we talked about all the acquisitions that they got, when we talked about when Bradley Beal joined and everything like that. The ceiling of this team is a championship. It is. Like, they could, like, if they're healthy, and, like, that's a big if, but if they are healthy, they could be a team that can go on and win a championship this year. I do believe that they have the ability to do that. We've seen James Harden step up in big moments. Last year was a little nasty, but we've seen him do it. You know what I mean? The Western Conference Finals against the Warriors, he did that before. We've seen Kawhi obviously go and win one. We've seen Brook go and win one. We've seen Chris Paul play at a high level. You know, there's the only question marks are the guys in between that, right? But you have 4 dudes who we know can play meaningful playoff basketball. That is the ceiling.
And they get the right coach.
The floor is a first round exit.
Yeah.
That's what it is, and that's what they were last year, and it could be the same thing. But they do have championship expectations, and they should have those expectations because they are talented enough to do so.
Yeah, Ty Lue, head coach of the Clippers.
Yeah.
Got all these veterans, probably maybe a former teammate or two in there too.
Right.
Like, I have to look
seriously, you have to look back. Like, did Ty Lue play with Chris Paul?
Exactly. Fair enough. All right, that's a look at the Clippers. We'll look at the Lakers coming up on this program as well. And again, we teased it off the top. Former Celtic Malik Fitts will join us. That's all coming up on Hold My Banner. Stay right there.
Cool. Yo, welcome back to Hold My Banner. Adam and Ountae here. Look, I'm not going to waste too much of your time. Adam already told you we got a legend coming in here today. I don't care. We got Malik Fitts, former NBA player for the Boston Celtics. We got him here right here. What's up, Malik? How you doing?
No, what's going on? Good. How are you doing?
Good, man. It was good to see you. Where you calling in from right now, dog? Can you talk to us a little bit about that? Where you calling in from?
Yeah, I'm in Bolzac, France.
Okay.
It's my first year.
Say that twice.
I hope I'm saying that correctly. Bolzac.
Okay.
Yeah. Last year I was in Strasbourg. This year I'm in Bolzac, but it's a nice city. I think it's like suburbs type of area, but it's a nice little city. I like it.
Okay, you fancy, dog. You look. I'll let Adam ask you the first question, dog. But, I'm glad to see that you're doing good out there in France. The Celtics Nation, they love you, dog. When I was telling some of the people around here that we were having you on the show, they were excited because you're the energy guy. You're the big celebration guy. That's the last time we see you out here in Celtics Nation. So everyone's all worried about how you're doing. We're glad to hear you're doing good.
Yeah, man. It's great to have you on the show. And, again, that was a magical run. You were part of that group in 22, making it all the way to the NBA Finals, playing the Golden State Warriors. We'll just start here. What was your experience like, being a part of the Boston Celtics?
I thought it was a really good experience. Again, I want to shout out to them. They welcomed me in like I was already a part of the team the moment I got there. So it's a very professional organization for sure. But my experience, I definitely would say it was probably my best experience out of every team that I've been on, just despite the fact that, we played in the NBA Finals. But it was good. I got a chance to really learn like what it takes to play at the highest level, especially when the playoffs get around. You can definitely kind of feel the different energy when the playoffs get here, and each round that you win up, you can definitely feel like it's getting serious. But I had a really good experience, man. It was really good to be around a bunch of group of guys that want to win, and a really good organization from top to bottom. And yeah, man, I had it's crazy how fast, how quick, that was, few years ago. It don't even seem like it was that long ago, but I thought it was like a really, really good experience. And also the city of Boston was very underrated. That was my first time kind of being in Boston, but I actually really liked the city of Boston. Overall, I liked everything.
Yeah, the city of Boston is definitely underrated. You know, us California dudes out here coming to Boston, you definitely learn a few things. Speaking of learning a few things, you played with Jayson Tatum, you played with JB, you played with Marcus Smart, you played with Derek White. Like, what did you learn from all of those dudes at the time when you were on that 22 team?
How professional they were. Honestly, yeah, just like how professional they were. I remember it was times where I would come back later in the gym and I would definitely see Tatum, like late at night, just getting up extra work. JB was also a really hard worker. When JB was coming back from his injury, I was the one that was playing one-on-one with him. So that was also a pretty good experience just to see how he play and, just his style of play. But those guys, it was definitely like a learning experience because that was my second year in NBA. And I just got a chance to just see how these guys do their, day-to-day routine and, the things that they do to kind of keep them, healthy throughout the season and playing at a high level. One guy that I really admired during my time there was obviously probably one of my best bets that I've had out of every team was Al Horford. And, just seeing how Al, I don't remember what year it was that he was when I was there, but just seeing how every day he had his routine. And I got a chance to ask him because I was like, yo, how do you play so long? Like, what did you do to keep you, in the league this long? And he was like, honestly, just this right here, just taking care of the body, making sure I do pretty much the same thing every single day before practice. And he did. So he was just overall just a great guy. But every last one of them, honestly, D. White, I just seen what it takes to play at the highest level. Those guys play very hard. Like that whole team, I don't think it was one guy on that team that didn't play hard. So it was every bit of a learning experience, especially when the playoffs got around.
Yeah, wait, I know Adam has something to say to you, but I just want to say, can you please just text Al and tell him to come back? Just come back. Just one more year, you know what I mean? And then he can go off to the sunset. But, just tell him to come. He doesn't want to go over there to the Warriors, bro. He wants to play right here in Boston. That's all I got to say. All right.
All right, there you go. You got your homework, Malik.
I'll try my best.
I'm curious to get your take on Jayson Tatum, having played with him. I think around here, I feel like he's almost underrated, because he's such a superstar in the league. And I don't know if he gets enough credit for being as good as he really is because he's not a flashy type of player. What was your take on practicing with Jayson Tatum, watching him play, and just your overall feelings of him as a presence on the court?
You would definitely say, as a younger kid, he got an aura when he's out there, and you can kind of tell just the way how he carries himself. But like you mentioned, you did say, he doesn't get the respect that he needs, but just like you said, he's not like a flashy guy, so it kind of doesn't really bring a lot of attention to the crowd. But overall, his numbers don't lie. He's been one of the best players in the NBA for like maybe the last couple of years. He's been up there. But I never really understood, if there's any kind of hate towards him. It's not much you can hate about him. His game is, overall, he has a complete game. He's definitely one of the best players that I've seen live. He's one of them, not saying, he's one of the greatest, but one of the players that I've seen live, he's definitely one of the most talented dudes that I've seen. But I think his respect level definitely went up the past couple of years, especially after the championship run. But I think, eventually when he comes back, he comes back better after his injury. I think people are really starting to realize and give him respect now. But eventually, I think eventually they're gonna really start respecting him.
Yeah, hopefully. And another guy that deserves a lot of respect in the league, and especially here in Boston, is Jaylen Brown. You talked about working out with him after his injury earlier on. He's once again trying to return from an injury that, you know, at the end of the season he had to get surgery. And, you know, I'm a proponent of, I think he can show us that he's a 1A. We haven't gotten a real opportunity to see him without Jayson Tatum much besides his rookie year, which I don't think is a fair assessment. Can you give me something that can quiet the doubters of Jaylen Brown?
I mean, he's Finals MVP. So, I mean, like, I don't know how you can, like, doubt that. I mean, that year that he won Finals MVP, you seen how, you know, the level that he was playing at. He was playing at a really, really high level. Even the year that I was there, we lost to the Warriors. He was playing at a really high level even then. And I never really understood, you know, like the hatreds or like any other bad mouthing that they had towards Jaylen. But I am curious to see how he will lead the team while Jayson is out. I think he'll handle it well. I think he's going to lead the team pretty well. But it's really the support crew. Support crew, you know, the bench guys, you know, the other 4 players. I believe like they take care of business. I still believe that Boston is still a very contending team. You know, obviously they want to have Tatum back, but you know, I think until then, Jaylen will be able to hold the team down until then for sure. We'll see though. I know that it won't be.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, I want to talk about the run you guys had in 22. I mean, you think about the teams that you came across and you beat, right? I mean, KD and Kyrie with the Nets. You had Giannis and the Bucks. You had Jimmy Butler, the Heat, and then you go up against Steph and the Warriors. I mean, for a young player, you know, who was a part of that playoff run, what was it like? What was it like for you, you know, facing off against these guys?
Honestly, it really, at times I really couldn't believe it. You know, just the fact that I'm like, oh wow, I really got on this team around this time, around like before the playoffs, and then when we got to the first round against Brooklyn, I honestly was shocked. You know, I didn't expect us to sweep them, but honestly, it was really cool to see. You know, and I think the second round is when we played Milwaukee, correct?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, so that series was probably my favorite series out of actually that was probably my favorite series just because I got a chance to just see, like, that was really high level basketball. I'm just seeing like the difference of physicality in the playoffs and, you know, the type of things they get away in the playoffs that they didn't get away with during the regular season. And I just seen like how together everyone became. You know, we had to play against Milwaukee because Giannis is definitely one of like the craziest players I've ever seen in person. Like when I seen him in person and the things that he was doing, I was just like, oh wow, like this dude is like, he's a cyborg, man. I'm like, wow, this dude is built and he's moving, he's running a point. Obviously they were missing Middleton at the time, but just seeing what Giannis was doing and how our guys reacted, especially when we went down 3-2. And then Tatum, game 6 is one of the best games I've ever seen. It's like, it was really a privilege to see that live. And really, like, I don't know if people know, like, I watched that game a few times, like me and my friends. Like, honestly, we talk about that pretty often just because, you know, I got a chance to experience it. But that game 6 was unbelievable. And then, you know, game 7 came around, shout out Grant. You know, Grant did his thing. I guess Grant had some Steph Curry water or something. And yeah, I don't know, it was crazy. But, and then off to Miami, that was a really good series. Honestly, that was like a tough, hard-nosed battle the whole time. It was just a good experience. That game was probably the most physical game, I would say, between out of all of us. You know, Jimmy did a really good job of keeping his guys, you know, together. They had a pretty good, complete team. But we went game 7. Yes, I believe it was game 7.
Yeah.
And it got to real crunch time. And I just remember towards the end, Jimmy Butler got like a fast break and he shot the 3 at the top of the key. And I just vividly remember just like holding my breath because I was like, yo, it looked good from my angle, but it was short. And I was like, oh my God. You could tell that was like a hard-nosed fight and he was exhausted. I don't know if he wanted to go to overtime because that was just a long game. But, and then we get to the finals. I mean, it's hard to talk about that because, we were just literally 2 wins away from a ring, and it haunts me to this day. But I thought that was like unbelievable. I just would have never thought I would be in a situation to kind of see an NBA Finals live or be a part of a team like that. And honestly, that was just high-level basketball. I mean, complete high-level basketball. Just being able to watch how locked in each and every player was. Even the guys that weren't playing, front office, staff, like everyone, like you can literally feel the energy of how locked in everyone was. But I thought that was just like a learning experience because you got to see a few really high level, potentially Hall of Famers. And one thing that I would probably not forget is I believe it was game 4. We had just won game 3 and game 4. Steph walks to our bench and looks everyone in the eyes and he tells us, enjoy y'all last win. And in my mind, I'm like, I mean, we up 2-1, so, we got home court advantage. And then he did what he had. Like, it was.
Yeah. He makes it look, what they say, Stefferless.
What he did was, it took me about a year to forgive him, but overall, I thought just the experience overall just was great. I thought Ime was a really good coach. Really good coach. A lot of the teams that I've been, or the few teams that I've been on, I think he was probably the coach that was most vocal with everyone. I even got a chance to talk with him face to face at times. And he's just a good dude, and he can relate to us because he was a player in the NBA. But overall, man, I just thought that whole experience, I still think about it every single day. Like, I still can't believe this was 3 years ago. But it's definitely like an experience that I won't ever forget. And hopefully one day, potentially get back in there, but we'll see. It's not that easy.
Yeah, we all hoping for it. I'll leave you with this. I want to ask one last question. All of this just makes me think about your experience and how, like, coming from where you come from, to going to USF, to going to St. Mary's, to, making it happen in the league, like, to being in Boston, one of the meccas of the sports, obviously the most championships in NBA history, being here with a bunch of guys who are making a name for themselves and will be etched in basketball history forever. What lasting impression did Boston leave you with, from the fan base to the arena to your teammates? Like, how do you feel knowing that you were a part of Celtics history?
Honestly, it was a really good feeling. Like, I couldn't believe the amount of love that I got just cheering my team on and having the kind of energy that I had. And like what most people don't know, like I've always been like this. Pretty much my whole life. Like, that's always been my energy. It's just the fact that now it's just cameras, so everybody pretty much got a chance to see that. But, from organization to fans, I just thought it was really professional, especially in the organization. Shout out Brad Stevens. Definitely one of the best in the business, I believe. In a fan base, the fans are incredible. When you're on the Boston Celtics, you're good. When you're not on the Boston Celtics, you got to see Kyrie. It's not easy. It's
right.
It's not just Kyrie, but like it's not easy to play in Boston. But overall, I just thought everything was professional, and I really appreciate how the transition went from when I was leaving there. I just thought everything was professional. They were straightforward about everything. And I feel like I'm able to be in contact with a few guys that's still on the team. If I message them, I believe, they'll still, get in contact back with me. But overall, I just thought it was just a really good atmosphere. Like, it was, TD Garden is definitely one of the loudest gyms that I played in for sure.
Yeah, well, Malik, we want to thank you so much for joining the show. We got to get you back because, look, I got millions of notes right here of things that I wanted to ask you today, but, we got to get you back.
No, absolutely, man. Just let me know. I got some free time on my hand when, practice is over, so.
All right, well,
I can talk
after
all day.
Hey,
we
trust
could
me,
too.
I know it, and we can too. Look, when we come back, we're going to talk more hoops. We got to talk some Marcus Smart being with the Los Angeles Lakers. So we'll come back with that. But, one last time, we appreciate you, Malik Fitts. Good luck this year in France. You're going to go out there and hoop, and we're going to see you back at Celtics 3 sometime soon.
I like
you
that,
know what
Malik.
I mean?
I like that.
Get you in that number 8 again, dog. All right.
All right, welcome back. Views of the Lake Show from above. The Los Angeles Lakers. Will they contend for an NBA title once again with the roster?
I hope not.
I mean, LeBron James and company, and that company does include Luka Doncic, who was extended, and then they brought in DeAndre Ayton, Marcus Smart, some of the highlights of their offseason. Question is, in the stacked Western Conference, is it enough to compete?
Personally, I don't think so. I do like the Marcus Smart addition because of what I know what he can be. I don't like what I had to watch in Memphis and Washington, D.C. It wasn't great.
Right.
But, here, in Los Angeles, I feel like he can replicate a lot of things that he was doing here.
It can rejuvenate a player, right? You go to a big market, big basketball city like Los Angeles.
And you got 2 stars like you did when you were here. You know what I mean? He didn't realize it back then that he had 2 stars on his team, which was a little bit of the growing pain.
Yeah, right.
But, he has 2 stars in LeBron and Luka who can take care of a lot of the scoring woes, and he can kind of just go in there and be a pest and make the corner 3 and make the extra play and be helpful. The move that I hated this summer was the DeAndre Ayton move. And the reason that I hated it is because everything that I hear and that I've come to know from playing against this kid since he was in 8th grade, the work ethic with this guy hasn't been that high. Maybe a new market, a big market like you're saying, can help him out. But, him playing with a LeBron James who's a very demanding teammate, you know what I mean, in a good way, because he knows how to win championships, but he is going to ask you to be at your best because he's always at his. That mashup just doesn't seem like it works. But it seems like they're worried more about how he fits with Luka than they are about how he fits with LeBron.
Well, because Luka's the future of the Lakers, right? LeBron James. I mean, is this his last year in LA? That's a big question, right? Because he didn't pick up the option. That was a big topic of conversation. He's got his other son that might be, that might be a possibility of them playing again, right? So, there's just so many question marks when it comes to LeBron and the Lakers. What's the biggest concern? Is that the biggest concern? Basically, is DeAndre Ayton kind of status quo, and Marcus Smart maybe not playing. I mean, or LeBron. I mean, with his age and going to be 41 in December.
Egos. I think that's the biggest concern. Egos. Los Angeles. A lot of big names. A lot of guys who think they're whatever don't stink. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of how this team is. And can they come together and be a team? They have talent. There's no question about that. Pelinka has always been a great guy at going and get talent. The Lakers have had talent since LeBron's got there, you know what I'm saying? But they haven't had great teams all the time. They had the one during 2020 in the bubble. That was a great team. But otherwise, it's been a lot of, this guy doesn't like this doesn't like that. Are they focused on basketball? That's the real question. Is LeBron focused on helping the Lakers win a championship right now with all the other stuff that's going on behind the scenes? You know what I mean?
And how does J.J. Redick handle that in year 2, right? I mean, he did a great job in year 1, right? I think you have to give him credit for coaching that team. I mean,
100%.
Right? All right.
100%.
All right, so the Lakers, we'll see. AJ Dybantsa, you got a chance to talk to him, buddy?
I did.
Yeah?
I did get a chance to
Brockton's
talk
own?
to AJ Dybantsa. I'm glad you brought it up. I actually have a video to show while talking about it, but I went out yesterday to Brockton. And his elementary school, Davis Elementary, actually ended up hanging a banner for this kid, man. AJ Dybantsa, he got a banner outside, as you guys are seeing right now. He also got one inside. He signed it. He was engaging with the community members there. Here's a photo of him with some of his old teachers, which is crazy. That's awesome. It has to be dope for them to see him doing well. And we moved over to the west side of Brockton, and he came out and he did a giveaway, actually, a backpack giveaway, getting these kids ready for school. He also gave away 25 bikes, gave away some Lego sets, a lot of different other things, signed some jerseys, balls, all that type of stuff. Just doing a lot of great stuff for his community. This is what you want to see out of a projected #1 pick. And he's not worried about any of those projections or anything like that. He's just worried about taking his platform and putting his city on. So, so glad that I got the opportunity to spend a day with him and see what a little bit of his life is like when he returns back to Massachusetts. But man, a special kid, a special talent, and I just love that he remembers the most important thing, where he came from, and building up his community.
Yeah, well said. No question about that. Projected #1 next year. It's crazy that in two years you could have 2 New England kids going #1 in the draft, right?
Right.
Flag and AJ Dybantsa. So that's pretty cool. It's
pretty
special stuff.
And look, they could both be New Balance kids. You know, the Nike contract ended over there for AJ Dybantsa. You could have 2 dudes wearing New England brands in the NBA, really putting on for their city. Cooper Flag, we talked about him going out to Maine and having cornfields. And you see him, AJ Dybantsa taking care of his community and showing up for his community as well. So 2 guys who are from here, but also really want everybody from here to do well, and they're doing whatever they can to make sure that happens. So you love to see it.
And AJ is a friend of the program.
Yeah. He is. I hope Cooper Flag can be a friend of the program too one day, but this ain't about him. This is about this kid right here. We're already ready for 2026 NBA draft. And we're going to have a chance to see AJ Dybantsa come play here in Boston against UConn, which will be a huge matchup. And it's the day after my birthday. So I'm actually really excited to go see that.
That's all the reason to celebrate right there. Unfortunately, our time has come to an end on Hold My Banner. Had a good time, man. Thanks a lot to Malik Fitts once again. He was great.
Yeah.
It was fun again, man. I mean, we have a good time.
Yeah, we always do. And I'm glad that Malik came by. We'll definitely get him back because I know you had some things that you want to ask him as well. But, he's a busy man, so we'll get him back.
Busy man. He's got his own basketball career to think about. But, hey, man, have a good Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Can't run out there, too. We'll see you next time.
Peace.